Hey guys, welcome back to Boost Hunter Garage. Today we're going to be back on the 07. We're finally going to be tackling this power steering issue that I've had for quite some time. Right from the beginning when I got this truck, the power steering was a bit weak and I knew that. You mainly just noticed it, like say when you're in a parking lot or something. Of course, when you're trying to turn tight and you don't have any RPM in the engine, it was hard to turn. Give it a bit of RPM, it would steer better. I just kind of kept leaving it like that for a bit, just putting it off. But finally, last time I was driving it, the power steering pump just started screaming like crazy. And now I'm starting to notice just a bunch of leaks from the actual power steering pump. And also I have the brake booster is also leaking. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to be changing all of that at once. And this is kind of something I learned my lesson with on this truck because it is a higher mileage truck, has a little over 300,000 miles. And I plan on keeping this truck forever. So I kind of learned my lesson on the AC. I basically had changed everything except for two hoses that were like kind of high pressure rubber hoses. They looked fine. Got everything done, hooked up, took it to a shop to get it vac down and filled up. Well, when it was getting vac down, one of those lines ended up cracking, which just ends up being a huge pain in the ass. Had to bring it home, change those lines, and do a bunch of extra work. So usually as I go to do something, I try to replace everything. So I went ahead and picked up, as you can see, all new hoses. Basically got, so all the hoses, new cooler. We got a new pump, and this is a 5.9 truck. And this is the pump that comes on a 6.7 truck, so 07.5 up. From what I've heard, there's supposed to be a better pump, and everything I think should line up right. So we're gonna get that on there. I got a new pulley for it. Just for the price of it, I thought I might as well. And basically all this you see here, I picked up on Rock Auto. And obviously the brake booster isn't there. For some reason, I wasn't able to buy it on there. It wouldn't ship to me, that part for some reason. So I ended up picking up one on Amazon. Hopefully I'll be here this week, but doesn't matter to you guys. It'll be all in one video. I'm gonna make this a two-part video most likely, just so it's not too long. Today we'll get in here, get all this torn out, and you can kind of see, because all of you might not be changing everything at once. You might be just taking the pump, might just be doing your brake booster, or maybe a line cracked on you and you're changing that. So you're gonna pick out little bits and pieces, but we'll go over the whole thing, get it all torn out, cleaned up. And one thing I'll mention right off the bat here before I forget is, say you are gonna be changing just one of these parts, just make sure that you do flush everything else out, just so that you don't have any debris in there and end up wrecking that new part that you just replaced. So yeah, like I said, we'll be changing everything basically on the power steering side besides the actual power steering box or gearbox, whatever you want to call it. So we'll go ahead and get into this. Okay, here for the teardown, I'm probably going to take out the battery just so I can film this better. For you guys, you might not necessarily have to unless you want to, just to get like your brake booster is going to be back here. Does allow you to have a bit more access, and I'm probably just going to pull the intake horn and intercooler boot off, or pipe off, just for filming purposes, a little more access. Obviously, here's your power steering pumps down here, the reservoir, and I went ahead and took out the inner fender liner, which is going to give you a lot better access because you can get right in here. So just the few 8mm bolts you got to take out, or screws. And then so here's your power steering pump right there. So yeah, with this out of the way, we'll be able to see better. As you can tell, it's gotten pretty dirty down here, pretty grimy from it leaking down on everything, which also makes you think something else is broken. So go ahead, I'm going to get all this stuff taken out. And while you're at it, I'm going to take the belt off the front. So obviously just go over to your tensioner, relieve the tension, and I'm just going to pop it off right here so that I don't have to try reroute it through everything. So yeah, we'll just pop it off there. All right, so now you can see that we got this stuff taken out of the way. We got the belt off. Now we're going to go ahead and get this fluid out of here. And how I plan on doing that is I'm going to use this just to draw the fluid out through the top of the reservoir here. And if you didn't have something like this to draw this out this way, what you would go ahead and do, as you can see, the there's this line coming off the bottom of the reservoir heading towards the cooler. So you would go ahead and come under here to your cooler here, whichever line it is here, mixed up, but coming from the bottom of your reservoir, you would go ahead and undo this, pop this off, or if you're getting new lines, I would probably just be easier just to slice this off and let it drain out since it's your lowest point. So I'm going to go ahead and draw out the fluid on the top first. Obviously I won't be able to get everything, then I'm going to come around and cut this here and let the rest drain out to hopefully make less of a mess here. Alright, so as you've seen there, I sucked out a bit of fluid out of the top, which only got like one thing of that full. And then I went and cut actually both the lines on the bottom there by the cooler to get it draining. And then just now, I just cracked these two lines, which will be like your highest point in the system. And right away, just to get some air in there and hopefully flush the rest out. And right away, as soon as you crack this, it started running more. So that's basically what I'm doing. I'm gonna let everything drip out. And then yeah, we'll go ahead, take these lines off and stuff. So, all right, now that it's basically done draining here, I'm gonna go ahead and get this cooler out of here. There's just 13 mil bolt on each end, so two of them. I'm gonna just reach up from here and undo it, pop that out of here, and then we can go ahead and get this pump out. So with that, there's three 13 mil bolts on it. You can kind of see the back of them here. So you're gonna have to reach through, there's holes in the pulley here. Gonna reach through, put a socket through, and get all three of those out to be able to pull it off. And also, since I'm doing all the lines, you can see there's the two lines here that go into the actual gearbox. I'm gonna go ahead and undo those. Just make sure you don't get debris in there. I'll probably shove some paper towel in. I'm just gonna undo those so that basically I can pull, once I undo this pump, hopefully just pull these lines and everything out as one and make less of a mess. And then all we have left is the brake booster that we're gonna pull out. We'll leave that till last. So we'll go ahead, get those three 13 mils out of there, get these lines off there, and the cooler, we'll get all that out of the way. There we go, got that old pump out of there. There's a bit of a fight because of where the bolts are here. I didn't realize there's another ear off the front of the case that catches it, so you actually have to pull the bolts right out through the front to be able to pull this out. But there we go, at least we got it out, and we can have access here to our other lines on top. I was gonna undo those lines up there, but off the top of the gearbox, but that was tough to get at. But now that we got the pump out of the way, we can get this cleaned up, get those lines off, and we'll work next on the brake booster here. So now we got all our lines out. I just shoved some paper towel into the top of the gearbox just to keep debris out of there. Got all lines. Now we're gonna move over to the brake booster here. So now to take this off here, what we're gonna do, there's two 15 mil bolts on it on your brake master here. So it'll be one on the top, one on the bottom. We're gonna get those off and then just hopefully set this off to the side a little bit without bending any of the brake lines. And then we'll go inside the cab here, underneath the dash, right up by your brake pedal. And this is gonna be hard to film doing, so I'm just gonna show it. You're gonna pop the clip and the pin out here, which is attached to your brake pedal. And then you're gonna see there's four 15 mil bolts there. This are the studs popping through. You'll take those two 15 mil nuts off is the word I was looking for. And I can tell laying here too, you can see the brake booster is leaking around that boot there too. Anyways, we're gonna undo those other ones and these, and we should be able to pull the thing right out. All right, so we got all those bolts taken off, so hopefully I'm doing this right. I'm gonna try separate the two, hopefully get the master just out of the way so we can pull the rest of it out of here, which so far it's cooperating. 1 second, it was all moving freely for a second there. Oh, there we go. Oh, getting ourselves tangled here. Just don't want to wreck any of these brake lines or bend any of them too badly. Oh. Okay, there we go. Just let that loose for a second. There we go. So there's your brake boost right there. Like I was trying to say before, you could tell it's leaking there, which would be on the inside. This whole thing's leaking. Not sure if the new one comes with these lines, so I might have to take these off and I'll clean them up really good. And the one thing I noticed, I have this line but don't have this piece. So I might save this piece and just clean it up really good, or see if I can find just some more as I'm making a mess all over the floor here. But I think I'm gonna end this one off here. I'm gonna go ahead while I have the access to this and just a ton of brake clean everything up in here so that it's ready. You'll have to come back for the next video where we'll reinstall all this stuff and bleed all the air out and that kind of stuff and finish it up. One thing I wanted to mention earlier, if you noticed how the power steering fluid was kind of funky looking color, and that's just because it has like normal power steering fluid, and then all I had on me was ATF, when obviously it's been leaking, so I topped up that, so that's why you got the red and the green kind of mess together. But hopefully this helped you out, at least knowing where or how to get some of these pieces out, and next time we'll get all the new stuff in there and flushed out. So thanks a lot for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one.